All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome into this week's edition of the South Florida Comedy Calendar, guys. My name is Sebastian Alvarez. I'm going to be your host this week, as I am every single week, and I'm joined, as I am every single week, by my co-host, my man, Art Roach. How you doing today, Art?
Sebastián, hoy empezamos en español porque vamos a tener el festival Miami es un chiste. Y la semana pasada yo conocí a la comediante Polly Díaz. Tengo el pullover aquí de ella, una comediante súper chévere, con un equipo completa alrededor de ella. Y ella va a regresar aquí a Miami en unos meses, tiene varios shows planeados, pero también van a empezar a hacer la comedia en inglés. Entonces, cuando viene a Miami, espero traerla a todos los clubes, todos los lugares que hacemos comedia, y vamos a ver en inglés cómo es.
Yeah, I think chévere is like the only adjective Art knows in Spanish. I think that's the only way you've ever described anything in Spanish. What does that mean in English?
Chévere?
Yeah.
Like good, that you like something.
Yeah, I think there's other ways
cool.
to say it.
I think cool would be the right.
Yeah,
like,
there's definitely more ways to say that in Spanish. You got to work on that, bro.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I gotta call him out.
What is your heritage? What's your background?
My heritage?
Yeah.
I'm Cuban Dominican.
Cuban Dominican. Okay. Yeah. And then what's my heritage? I'm Brazilian.
Right.
Brazil speaks Portuguese, if I remember correctly. And then your heritage speaks what?
Spanish.
Right. And then
that's why I'm calling you out on it.
Right. So the Spanish segments on the show, though, are done by the
one that looks Spanish.
The Brazilian guy.
Nobody would buy it if I did it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. As long as we're good. As long as
that's
we're there.
it. As long as you know that you are the token hire.
Gotcha.
Like that's
I'm the
token. You're here for making sure we fill all our quotas.
Well, every job I ever got was because I spoke multiple languages. So I guess this is one of those.
You're a DEI hire. Don't worry. Yeah. It's not about your language speaking. It's just you fit the role.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every team needs a role player, and that's you.
I could check any box is what you're saying.
Any box.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, guys, this last week in South Florida comedy was a lot of fun. We not only were able to interview the guy who came through and headlined the Miami Improv this last week in Ian Lara, but we were also able to get some nice footage, some background, behind-the-scenes clips, thanks to our boy Dark Vision, who was able to be at the shows and take a few pictures and take a few clips. We can show you guys a little bit more of what you missed this weekend at the Miami Improv.
Which, ladies, look, you gonna bring a man over to your house and there's a dead cat in your living room? Give us a heads up.
Right now, I make eye contact with these Cybertruck drivers and I'm like, stupid.
There's no way a gay Asian robbery, that's a hell of a parlay, okay? That's a plus 100 on FanDuel, I think.
There you go. Always love seeing the great content that Dan is able to put together every single time he's out there at the Improv, taking some B-roll and taking some photos of everything that's going down. And I thought his little clip that he put up this week was really amazing. And also, huge shout out to Ian, Max Menikoff, and Ellie, who came through and blew the doors off of that show. Of all the shows, really, this entire weekend, they were not only out back selling merch, shaking hands, kissing babies after the shows, but on stage, they were ripping it apart. Ian had an amazing set. Guys, look out for his special that is going to be coming out. You can follow him on social media. The platform specifically hasn't been decided just yet, but whenever it does drop, you have to watch it, because if you weren't there in person this weekend, the things that he has prepped and the jokes that he has going are amazing. The guy is incredible, and you definitely want to check it out once his special does drop.
And I'll say a big shout out to Ellie Rodriguez hosting, getting every single show, getting it started, and a big shout out to Max Menikoff, man. I'd known about it before. I got to meet him at the Improv this weekend. Got to hang out and talk a little bit. New York, Miami comedian, and just really good guy, man. Nice to meet him.
100%. Now, moving on, though, to this week at the Miami Improv, guys, we start off early in the week with two incredible shows that are happening at 7 and 9:30 on Tuesday at the Miami Improv, guys, and that is going to be for Will Milz. You're going to be able to see a bunch of content that we have coming out with Will. We were able to get him in on the show over Zoom to kind of talk about his comedy career, how he started, and what the shows that you guys have on Tuesday to look forward to, what they're going to be like. So definitely go on our page and check out that content. Go follow Will right now, because his social media is fantastic, second to none, and he's going to be doing two shows, like I said, at the Miami Improv, 7 and 9:30 on Tuesday. Go to improv.com right now, miamiimprov.com, and get your tickets, because you do not want to miss this show. He's going to be doing some awesome roasts. He's going to be doing some incredible material out there on that stage. The man has been a professional in the comedy game for 12 years. So it's nothing that you guys want to miss.
Yeah, and Kevin Dean is going to be featuring for him. So I'm excited to see. I didn't know, but we found out during the interview that Will actually started in Orlando doing comedy. So a lot of Orlando love, Florida, another Florida comedian, I'll say.
Heck yeah. And huge shout out absolutely to Kevin, who's going to be featuring, like you said, was able to work with him really recently in Orlando, Florida. Really dope guy, and someone that you guys really have to come out and see. His stuff is bulletproof. He is super, super, super funny. Really great show at the Miami Improv Tuesday. 2 shows, guys. Moving on to Wednesday, though, we go over to the Fort Lauderdale Improv for some awesome stuff, because it is a comedian that, again, we also had right here on the comedy calendar, guys. He gave us an amazing interview where he talked about, starting comedy in Alabama, coming up, doing his social media game, and that is Justin Stagner, guys. You guys not only need to check him out on social media and follow him online, but also go to the Fort Lauderdale Improv this week, Wednesday. He's got one show only at 7:30, so you don't want to miss it. Go to Fort Lauderdale Improv right now and get your tickets for that show.
Yeah, and from the interview we did with him, Sebastian, I've already posted like 3 different things, and you can see him talking about what you're going to expect to see at the show, the style of comedy that you're going to see. So it's a really good primer for what's going to happen. So I'm excited. Like I said before, Dan and I will be there. So if you're a comedy calendar fan, just say what's up, and we'll get some shots with you.
Also happening this week on Wednesday, Art, you are going to be on a show that is ran by somebody who we've already mentioned once on the show. The host from this weekend's lineup at the Miami Improv, Ellie Rodriguez, is doing her Vape Queen show, over in Davie. You're on it. What is it going to be like?
Yeah, I mean, this is South Florida's Ellie Rodriguez's comedy calendar. So if we don't mention her in a week, we lose all funding. So yeah, we'll be at Vape Queen this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Ellie Rodriguez is running the show. Connie Fernandez will be hosting, one of my favorite hosts down here. I'll be performing. Cindy DeCastro will be there. And Taylor James, who actually we just met at New Faces last month and featured her here on the podcast as well. So it's going to be a good lineup. I'm excited.
That's going to be dope. Definitely, if you're out there and looking for a fun venue to go and see a comedy show, guys, Vape Queen is second to none out there in that Davie area. You have no reason, if you're in the area, to not come out and support 100%, guys. Moving on to Thursday, though, at the Miami Improv, a late show we are going to be having that represents a lot of the local comedians down here in South Florida coming out and doing their thing, guys. We have a roast battle that's being put on by Mateo Rodriguez. Huge shout out to Mateo for putting this show together and giving the comics down here in South Florida a little bit of a platform to go at each other, and the matchups that he put together are really dope. You have a headlining matchup. The main event, as you would say, is going to be Oriel Rodriguez versus Chris Cilio. Both of those guys not only have been in the game for a super long time, but they're both very bald and they're both very funny.
Yeah.
So you have that to look forward to.
I think it's basically the blind bleeding the bald, I think is the...
Right, yeah, that's exactly what it is, actually. We also have a matchup of Paco versus Sai. Guys, you have that to look forward to. Lita Faye versus Ben Smith, Dina Cruz versus Big Pedro, and John Gregory versus Sergio Mendez. All of the comics that are on there have done roast battles before. They know what the game is like. They're all really funny. So you have a fun show to look forward to. Again, go on MiamiImprov.com right now if you want to get tickets for that show. One night only at the Miami Improv. That is going to be this Thursday, June 12th at 10 p.m. It's the late show happening on Thursday at the Miami Improv, guys. Look forward to that.
Anyone looking at the Hard Rock app to put some bets on this, I will say that all the people that have been on the podcast are the favorites. So I'm sorry for anybody else, but Chris Cilio is the favorite on that one. Simon Tia is a favorite on that one. He hasn't been on the podcast, but he's been here in studio before. Ben Smith is a favorite. Big Page is going to be a favorite. And the John Gregory and Sergio Mendez.
That's a toss-up. That's a 50-50.
Which one?
John Gregory and Sergio Mendez?
Exactly.
It's a toss-up. Who knows? The odds are split in that one, which you don't see very often coming out of Vegas.
That's what's going to ruin my parlay. I think they're the one that's going to ruin my parlay.
I got you, man. I got you. And we will be collecting parlay bets right here on the Comedy Calendar betting app. Guys, we call that Comedy Calendar Stake, actually, is what we call it. So you guys have that to look forward to there at the Miami Improv Thursday, June 12th, guys. Moving on to Friday, we start the weeks of comedy in Spanish happening at the Miami Improv, guys. We have an amazing Spanish festival that is going to be jam-packed with not only the best Spanish acts across the world, really, in stand-up comedy, but also having some of the best crowds coming out to South Florida comedy shows, because we are bringing out the Latin scene. We are bringing out the Latin vibes to the Miami Improv for so many days in a row. Art, you have a little bit more information on that about kicking off that festival this Friday at the Miami Improv.
No, de verdad, por los últimos 2 meses hemos hablado del festival Miami es un chiste. Va a ser el primer festival latino en español aquí en Miami. Tenemos varios shows. Todos los días van a ser varios shows. No tenemos ni una chance de hablar de todos los shows, pero sí voy a recomendar algunos. Y cualquier persona que tiene interés, que quiere saber más, nos puede mandar un mensaje en el Comedy Calendar page y estoy ahí para responder todas las preguntas, ¿ok? Pero empezando el día 13 de junio a las 5:30 vamos a hacer el opening night de Miami es un chiste. Va a ser súper chévere, van a tener como un roast carpet donde la gente va a llegar y le van a como burlar y hacer chistes sobre ellos. Pero a las 7 p.m. va a haber Lucho Mellera, uno de los grandes comediantes que viene. Ya este show está sold out. Él tiene otro show el domingo, yo creo también, que también va a ser sold out. Si quieren, van a miamiimprov.com para comprar los boletos ahora mismo. Pero va a ser súper chévere. El viernes va a ser un día bien interesante para la comedia latina aquí en Miami. El sábado, junio 14, otra vez en Miami Improv, empezando a las 4, vamos a tener shows. El primer show se llama Latinos Comedy Miami. Va a ser a las 4 y va a ser un show de principalmente artistas cubanos. Tenemos Rami Cuba, Manu, Aileen, Albert, Mustelier y Iván Camejo que van a estar ahí en el show. Sí, Ray, ¿tienes el flyer de los shows Latino Comedy Miami? Perfect. Sí, entonces tenemos ellos, va a ser otra vez Rami, Manu, Aileen, Albert, Muselier y Iván Camejo. Entonces, si eres cubano, si estás buscando comediantes cubanos, el día 13 a las 4 vamos a estar ahí. Va a ser súper chévere. También el sábado, junio 14, a las 6:30, vamos a tener Eso Es Live, que va a ser un grupo puertorriqueño. Ray, do you have the flyer for Eso Es Live? Perfect. So, a las 4, disculpa, sábado, junio 14, Miami Improv, a las 6:30, va a ser Eso Es Live, que son comediantes puertorriqueños. Va a haber Kiko, Víctor Villamil, Luis Rodríguez y el Chente Drac, que es un amigo del podcast. Todavía no tuvimos aquí en estudio, pero ya varias veces en Miami Improv me puse a hablar con él y una persona bien interesante, Gallimbo Records y Productions allá en Puerto Rico. Y un amigo de nosotros, Alex, Mr. All Day, estuvo en Puerto Rico con ellos y fue a los estudios y fue algo bien chévere, como se dice. Pero estoy bien animado y van a ver varios shows, van a miamiimprov.com y chequean todo el lineup que tenemos. Pero también si tienen preguntas, mándenme un mensaje y yo les mando todo directamente a ustedes.
There you go, guys. Also, don't forget the tickets for those shows will not be purchased directly on the Improv website, but the link to the ticketing service that these shows will be sold, their tickets will be sold on, is linked directly from the Improv page. So just go there as your first landing site. Go to the link in the description of those pages, and you'll be able to see not only availability but ticket pricing and everything else for any of these shows that are coming up.
And I'll shout out. I think it's called Ticket Plate is the app, and shout out Jimena and Mini Jimena. There's the showrunners that are kind of running everything behind the scenes, so I'm excited to run into them this weekend as well.
Absolutely. They're going to be there holding it down at the Miami Improv, guys, for an entire week of incredible programming and shows jam-packed. But this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we have a real treat coming through the Fort Lauderdale Improv, guys, and that is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Chris Delia, guys. He is coming to the Miami Improv this year in August, and we have that to look forward to down here in the Miami area. But right now, if you want to go and see him and get ahead of that show, if you can't wait, you can go to the Fort Lauderdale Improv's website right now and get tickets. Some of those shows have already sold out, and guess what? They're probably going to be selling out the rest of those shows very quickly. So you want to go as soon as you can. We're going to put this clip up very quickly so that you guys can run and get your tickets right now for that Chris D'Elia show, because he is on another level. If you haven't seen his latest special that he has on YouTube, guys, you are missing out. Not only is that an incredible special, but I am sure it gives you an idea of kind of the comedy that he is doing right now as he's touring the country. So definitely go out there to the Fort Lauderdale Improv and get some tickets for Chris D'Elia this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, guys.
And I'll say, look, the 7 o'clock show on Saturday, it's already sold out, Sebastian. They've already sold out. The tickets are moving very, very fast. Don't hesitate. Get tickets. And we mentioned on our look ahead that he'll be back here like towards I think in the fall he'll be back. Even those tickets are already selling out. So don't miss this. Next time he's in town, I'm pretty sure he's not gonna be doing improvs. You know what I mean? Next time he's probably gonna be at a Hard Rock or something like that. I'm excited. I've never seen him live, so this is one of those shows that if I can make it there on Father's Day, any way possible, I'm gonna make it to that late Sunday show.
I love that, man. And guess what, guys? If you can't make it out, don't worry. Just get your tickets for the shows that he's going to be doing in August here at the Miami Improv, everybody, because he's going to be coming right back to South Florida in a month or two. So you have that to look forward to as a little bit of a look ahead to what we got in South Florida comedy. Don't forget, guys, we also have Mike Epps, Steve-O, Bruce, Harlan Williams. We have a lot of amazing comics that are coming through the Miami Improv, guys, in the rest of 2025, kind of closing out our calendar year, and more to come. You know, we always have last minute additions. We always have people that can come through. You never know. I mean, Louis C.K. just did a Monday, Tuesday in February that got put on the schedule randomly out of nowhere. So
Nimesh Patel did that Tuesday after Ultra just because he was in town.
That's right. It was actually after F1. But
that's right. You're right.
Regardless, the reality is, guys, we got guys all across the country and some of the best performers across the country, the best stand-ups, dropping in and doing shows all the time. And they're going up on that website, miamiimprov.com. So not only do you want that to be something that you just keep tagged and you're always checking if you're a comedy fan down here in South Florida, but always keep us right here at the Comedy Calendar with notifications on and keep following and interacting with all of our posts on social media so you never miss what's happening, guys. But that has been this week in South Florida comedy, everybody. I am Sebastian Alvarez, your host, as I am every single week, and it has obviously been an absolute pleasure having you guys come along with us for a ride. We are just now getting started, as you can see with the content that we've been putting out recently, interviewing some amazing people and some comics that have given us incredible insight that I never thought we would be able to bring to you guys here in South Florida and to the South Florida comedy scene. So more, bigger and better to come, and more to come from the Comedy Calendar, guys. But we can only do it with your support and you guys following us. So definitely, please keep that coming, keep interacting, keep commenting on all our posts, because it really does mean the world and it really makes a difference on all of our posts. So thank you so much. Art, anything else that you got to say before we get out of here?
I mean, the biggest announcement right before the podcast started, and more to come next week, we are officially going to have some promo codes with the improvs, so we'll be able to kind of promote some tickets and get some discounted tickets and some free tickets for the Comedy Calendar family. So again, I appreciate all the support, appreciate every single comment, every single interaction that you guys do with these posts. It means the world to me. It means the world to us, and it keeps us going further and pushing harder. And we want to bring you guys the best content. We want to make South Florida comedy be one of the biggest scenes in the world, and you guys are a part of that, so thank you guys so much.
That's right, guys. I second everything that my co-host Art has just said. Thank you so much. Again, right now we are going to play an interview that we did a little bit earlier, actually, for our man Will Milz. He is a New York-born, Orlando-created and cut comic who has one of the best social media platforms, I think, in the game right now. I think he is 100% killing it, and you guys are going to learn a little bit about the shows that he's going to be have coming up this Tuesday at the Miami Improv, like we talked about right here on the calendar. But you're going to get to know him a little bit. So thank you guys for listening to the calendar portion. But now let me send you over to the interview. All right, what is up, guys? We are here for a very, very special interview on the South Florida Comedy Calendar, guys. My name is Sebastian Alvarez. I'm going to be your host today, as I am every single week here on the Comedy Calendar. Our guest is somebody who's coming to South Florida and gracing us with his presence, and we need you guys to come out and support in a huge way. We're going to get to him in 1 second. We got my co-host here, Art Roach. How you doing, Art? How you been?
Sebi, I'm feeling pretty good, man. Tonight, we're going to be doing From Brooklyn to Miami, so I'm excited.
Yes, sir. From Brooklyn to Miami, I think, is the perfect introduction for our guest today on the Comedy Calendar. We are really, really, really blessed to have him on our platform and to be giving a little bit of his knowledge and information and what he's going to be bringing to his show this week, Tuesday, at the Miami Improv, guys. I need everybody here in the community newspapers to put your hands together and get it going for the very funny Will Milz.
What's good? What's goody? What's good, y'all? Happy to be here.
Hey, man, thank you so much for being on the show. We are really excited to let the people in South Florida know a little bit about you and kind of what they can expect from a show, a Will Milz show. I mean, I am looking forward to this. We know that everybody, since it's been put on the schedule at the Miami Improv, has been really looking forward to this. But what do the fans down here in South Florida, the people that are going to be coming out on Tuesday to watch you at the Miami Improv, what can they expect from a Will Milz show?
Well, it'll be a little different than what I do on social media. A lot of people know me from, my top 5 list or roasting people on social media. I've been doing stand-up for about 13, 14 years now, and a lot of people don't know that. I've been headlining for a while now. So what you're going to expect is a lot of truth serum, definitely. A lot of unapologetic humor on my end, and a lot of crowd work as well. So it's going to be fun.
Okay, that's awesome to hear. I mean, I know the crowds down here in Miami love the crowd work. Like, there's something about Miami and making the crowds here feel like they're a part of the show that really just brings out the best in that crowd, in that local scene. That's dope to hear. I know you do a lot of roasting. Have you always been like a roast master? Were you always the guy ragging on your friends?
Yeah, in high school, definitely. I mean, all through school, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. So that's just New York in general. Like that's our terms of endearment. Like, so saying that I'd use a lot. If I don't roast you, we're not friends. If all of my friends get roasted, I mean, that's how New York is. You come outside, and the minute you walk out the door, if your hat, your clothes, something's not looking right on you, you're getting roasted. That's how it is. And I think for me, bringing that to social media is very much needed because there's a lot of trolls, and that's what happens a lot. There's not like a lot of defense for the creators, and I've always hated it. And I'm like, why do people in the comment section think they're off limits? So I'm like, you know what? Let me bring stand up to the internet, because what happens when somebody heckles you from the audience? Okay, you wanna heckle? Now I'm gonna give you 5 minutes of my time and turn the audience against you. So that's the same thing I do on social media. So what I'll do is I'll take their comment, screenshot it, and roast and let the audience roast them, make them the butt of the joke.
Dude, yeah, that's an amazing philosophy. Let me ask you, is that how you got your moniker, the King Dirtbag? Is that where it came from, the streets, kind of roasting people?
Nah, so it's weird. Like, all right, so the moniker came from this. I've always been Will Milz. I've always been my real name is Will Miller. So I've always used my real name. However, me and my boys used to run around and they all called us dirt bags because we used to mess with the girls and everything. So then I created a clothing line called Dirtbag Cartel. And on the back of this shirt, real big, it said Dirtbag. So because I always wore those shirts on stage, everybody thought that was my name. So the association with the name and the style of comedy kind of became one, and I couldn't shake it. Everybody would say, "Yo, what up, Dirtbag? Hey, Dirtbag," and I'm like, "It's not my name, bro. That's the name of my clothing line." So I'm like, you know what? Then I switched my Instagram handle from Will Milz Will Milz to King Dirtbag, and then that page got canceled from doing it too much, from roasting people too much, and people getting offended. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to Will Milz. So I kind of did away with the Dirtbag moniker, but people who've known me and been following me for a while, they still they know that name. So
Yeah, someone comes up,
it still sticks.
someone comes up and calls you that, they're a real fan. They're an OG fan. You know what I mean?
They knew me for a while.
That's dope.
Well, I see
knew me for a while.
I see you're wearing the packing department
Yep.
shirt. That's one of your merch right there?
Yeah, and on the back it says "pack you up." So because that's one of my new catchphrases. I mean, y'all probably remember the old one before this. It was "nasty work."
Yeah.
Mhm.
The whole country says it, but that was I coined that phrase as well. Nasty work, legendary nasty work. But now I say "pack you up" a lot. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want nasty work. I mean, pack you up to become a nasty work to where everybody's kind of using it. And it's cool if they do. It's, the influence is fine. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna really do something with this catchphrase, this go around, and pack you up has kind of been my thing. They're using it in the NBA. They made it like the unofficial slogan of the playoffs, and so that took on a life of its own. So
That's awesome.
So I got the merch out now. The merch just dropped yesterday, and I will be bringing it out to Miami as well.
That's what I was going to ask you. I'm glad to hear that. So I at the Improv, I'm one of the guys that helps sell merch. So I'll definitely be there, being the merch monger and pushing that stuff. I'm glad to hear it, man.
Yeah, when we're out there, we like to use our 1920s newspaper boy salesman voice, like merch here, come get your merch. We're getting everybody at that table.
Nice. I just did the Improv in Orlando yesterday. Sold out show. It was myself, Preacher Lawson was on the show.
Nice.
David Jolly, Cam Patterson couldn't make it, but he was supposed to be on the show. But we all and Jari Wright, and that was a really big show. sold a lot of merch yesterday too.
I mean, that's a murderous lineup. I mean, we've seen Preacher headline through the Improv. He's come through multiple times in my time there, and every time he's done a great job. And actually, David Jolly was somebody that I was on my first ever show that I was booked on at the Improv with Something Robinson. David Jolly was on it, and it's so cool seeing what he's doing out there in Austin. Absolutely killing it right now. Killing it.
Yeah, and we all came up together. Me, David Jolly, Preacher, and Cam Patterson. We all came up together in comedy.
Wow, that's so dope. So where did you start your comedy career? Where did that
I started my comedy career. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, where were those first places that you got up and you started like cutting your teeth?
So when I went to college in Orlando, and then I moved back to New York, and then when I came back to Orlando again, I'm still doing, making fun of people and doing it. So one of my boys said, shout out to Ken Miller. Ken Miller, we consider him like the godfather of Orlando comedy. In New York, I was a club promoter. And I was in truck clubs and bike clubs and doing all that kind of like promoting stuff, doing the club scene. And when I came in Orlando, one of my guys was like, man, you should be a comedian. And I'm like, seriously? He's like, bro, you'll kill. You're already kind of popular, so you should do it. And then Ken Miller got me to do the open mic here called The Other Bar in Orlando, Florida. And I kind of like promoted it like I was promoting a club. And it packed out, and I got on stage for the first time and pretty much in front of a packed audience and killed it. And I said, okay, I think this is what I want to do. So I saw the headliner pretty quick, but I used my pull though. I kind of went the back roads other than what other comics do, go through hellfire. I just worked with a lot of killers and a lot of headliners. And then, like I said, I came up with Preacher, Jolly, all of us came up at the same time, and all of us started headlining around the same time. And we all used different, Jolly, for instance, he went to Kill Tony. Preacher went on America's Got Talent. And I utilized my social media to kind of push my stand-up forward.
Damn, that's crazy, because I talk about Florida as, everyone knows that like Florida makes good football players, for example. And in the last couple of years, Florida's really been baking some really good comedians. So I'm glad to hear that you kind of started in Orlando. It kind of reinforces that, got Cam Patterson, all these guys, and you see Orlando just coming out as like a haven, man. And, we're South Florida's comedy calendar, but we definitely, for us, it's South Florida's worldwide. So it reaches to Orlando, to Tampa, all the way to Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, Orlando got the killers, man. It's killers out here, man, on these stages. I'll put us up against anybody. But then, I got my New York guys too. I just did something with Godfrey maybe about 2 weeks ago. And I don't know if I know who Gorilla Nims is.
No, I haven't heard of him.
He's the guy that says bing bong.
Yep.
He says bing bong.
Oh,
don't ever disrespect me. Yeah, so right after I leave you guys on Wednesday, I have a show with him. On Tuesday, I have a show with him in New York on Wednesday. So that, I got it right back to back. I'm in New York, and I'm in New York for the whole week doing shows and pop-ups and things like that. Oh, and got a movie role coming up.
Oh, man, I definitely got to ask more about that movie role. But real quick, so for this show on Tuesday, are you bringing anybody down with you to feature?
Yeah.
Is anyone we can expect?
Yeah. This is another comedian who's actually gotten a lot of leverage from his social media presence. So, Kevin Dean, but he goes by on Instagram of Mr. Full 7 Kev. And he does the whole Dayton and Central Florida thing, and he's been killing with that. And he does a swingers club actually. He hosts his comedy at a swingers club, and then he does like a dirty bingo night, and so he just got his head everywhere. And then he's also the co-host of my show. So Kevin Dean is definitely going to be making some noise in comedy. He's definitely growing in that, but he's going to be my opener, my feature act for tomorrow.
Damn, that is so cool. I actually just worked with Kevin up in Haines, Florida. We did a show together, and it was Haines City. Yeah. I will say this. He is absolutely killing the game, like you said, not only in the production aspect, but the social media. And you said he's the co-host on your podcast. Yep. All jokes aside, man. Tell us a little bit about that. What is that podcast about? How did that start up?
So I started that podcast back in 2018. That's when I started podcasting. This was like in the baby stages of podcasting. Nobody knew what it was. But I said to myself, people always say, yo, you have a radio voice. You should be on the radio. And I'm like, I kind of don't want to do the radio. I feel like the radio industry is going to die soon. And I said, podcasting is where it's at. And it was a podcaster. I don't know if you know, I heard of him. His name was Taxstone. He had tax season podcast. He's in jail now. He's doing 30 years in jail because he killed somebody. But but he was an amazing podcaster. So I used to look, and he was a solo podcaster. So it was him that inspired me. Bill Burr, because Bill Burr just does, he does the Monday morning podcast, and he's been doing that forever. And Chris Delia. And they all do one-man podcasts. And I'm like, hey, kind of what I do on social media, because when I would go live, I would be live for like 2 hours straight, and hundreds of people would just watch me talk. I'm like, you know what? This is a podcast, pretty much. So I kind of studied it. I got the proper mics, cameras, and everything, and I started then. I've had several co-hosts and engineers, and then I guess they didn't see that it was a lucrative thing, because podcasting, after a while, you have to like stick with it in order for it to be lucrative, for it to make money. And you got to be consistent. You got to build your audience. You got to do it every week. You got to keep your audience. People have a short attention span nowadays. So you have to like just keep feeding them and be consistent about it. So I was losing co-hosts, losing engineers. So I took a step back. I revamped it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go all in with this thing. So I went and bought my own studio. So I have my own All Jokes Aside TV and media studio now. And I went solo again. And I had Kevin was on the comeback with that. And then I bought Ray. Shout out to her. She was the co-host. And we did the same thing I was doing, just doing commentaries of the weekly events that took place. And because my social media presence is what it is, when people tune in, it wasn't any different from what people were getting on social media. So I said, you know what? I got to do something different. Let me start interviewing famous comedians. So that's what I'm doing now. So I haven't dropped any new episodes yet, but I've already interviewed Godfrey. I've interviewed Cam Patterson. And actually today, after I finish this call, I'm interviewing Preacher Lawson. And then coming up, we got Tony Rock and D.O. Hughley. So I said, I'm going to make this the hub for any comedian coming through the Central Florida area, or, maybe we can go to them. So I want this to be a platform to where I can interviewing comedians, because nobody knows us better than us. We can relate. I know Shannon Sharp does a lot of comedians, but he's not a comedian. He doesn't understand the politics and the little petty beefs and things like that. So comedians always feel more comfortable talking to other comics. So that's what it is now. And when I relaunch it this week, it's going to fly, because that first interview with Godfrey, he's a legend. And that's going to go crazy. So yeah, all jokes aside, we up to episode 227. And it's coming back as most likely, it's going to be me and Kev interviewing some of the biggest comedians in the world.
Man, 227 is insane. That is not, most podcasts don't make it past episode 2. So that, so right away, that's insane. And the lineup of guys that you got already on slate to go on your show and maybe you already have produced and recorded is second to none. You guys definitely, everybody out there right now, we're going to leave links in the description of this post to his podcast and to all that stuff. Guys, definitely go check that out, because Godfrey right now, he's about to film his 1 hour special right on Thursday at the Apollo.
I'm going to be there.
You're going to be there?
Yeah, I'm going to be there for that as well.
Oh man, listen, if you're behind the scenes, you got any pictures, please
man,
put on the stories, please tag us, man. Like, we'd love to see it, man.
I got you, man. Yeah, I'm definitely, I'll be there for that as well. Yeah.
That's super dope.
We started off at the beginning. You mentioned kind of your comedy style, a little bit of like a truth serum, and definitely your online presence illustrates that. One of the things that I first saw you was in your top 5 videos where you, would you mind describing what that is for us?
So top 5, all right. So I've seen people do lists before, but I've been doing the top 5 since 2016. But also I'm a comedian. So if you just do the top 5 something, it's just you giving your opinion on something. But if you do the top 5 worst, people are scared to say what the worst things are. And that's where you can't make the top 5 best drink sodas in the world funny. Right. But you can make the top 5 worst sodas funny, because you can make more descriptions of it.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my best friend, Jason, shout out to him. Me and him have been doing this thing for years, and we very opinionated. We're always talking about stuff. So when me and him on the phone, just bantering back and forth, we'll come up with one thing and kind of make a list around it. Like for instance, like Wayne Brady's hairline, not Wayne Brady, the Black Power Ranger, Zach. He has one of the worst hairlines in the history of the world. And I said, you know what? That's a list. Let's just find 4 other guys with terrible hairlines and make him number 1. And I don't know if you saw that. Me and him actually had an online little war going on.
Yeah.
He actually responded to me. And I said, oh, wow, this is beautiful because this is not your lane, Zach. And also, me and the rest of the world want to know what's going on. Like, you did that. Like, that's not, you weren't born with that. You went to the barbershop and you okayed the rainbow shape up. And it's a disgusting hairline. It's been made fun of for years. So I think he should have just sat that one out and just let the joke ride. But instead, he got an additional roast from me just for talking back. So
yeah, I mean, you can't really blame him for the hairline either. He was wearing that really hard helmet for so many years that it must have just, rubbed up and pushed it back for sure. There's got to be it.
And he still has it. He still has it to this day.
Permanent damage.
He still has that hairline.
The top 5 that got me, and I felt, honestly, I felt a little bit slighted, was the beard one, because I can't really grow a proper beard. And I'll be 40 this year, and my boy Sebastian here, look at him with that glorious, So that one I felt like maybe Sebastian reached out to you and had you made that against me, because that was...
I definitely sent it to you.
At least you have a goatee. See, if you now where you would mess up is if you cut the mustache off and just left the pussy chin beard. That's where you would mess up at. Now you messed up. Well, because it's not having a beard, it's what decisions you make, right? Because if you can't grow a full beard, don't try to fake it. Like, don't do the patchy thing. Everybody's not blessed with a full beard. So if you can't grow one, just still don't try to pass off a patchy beard as a full beard. Don't do that. Also, don't grow a full beard and then chop your mustache off. And then don't have an a la carte mustache.
Yeah.
That looks insane. You look like a cop or some kind of child predator. Don't do that.
Yeah. If you take the mustache off, you're just going for the Abe Lincoln Amish look, and that's not satisfying anybody.
Well,
What is your name, Jericho?
Well, I was going to
Jedediah?
give me some advice here. Let me know. What I was going to do is I was going to shave it all off, and I was just going to let the under neck beard grow. I was going to have just a beard right here on the neck.
That's nasty right there. Don't let me see it, bro.
Yeah,
don't let me see it.
Don't be sitting front row at any of his shows with that.
Yeah, man. I'll call it. I'm just that person that's fearless. I will call out anything. In other words, I'm the best friend you can have, bro. My friends know to come correct around me because I'm gonna say something and I don't care. Well, if it's a bunch of people who don't know you, I'll pull you to the side. But if it's a crowd, if it's a group of friends, and then I'm also gonna chastise my other friends for not saying anything to you.
One other instance where I think this was the first time I actually ran into you in social media, and I didn't know back then, but it was you talking to your son and you told him that he used to live in your balls. You remember that clip?
That went crazy viral, yeah. A lot of people didn't know it was me, though. They just saw my son's cute face. And he actually just went viral again. That kid, my son is going to be a bigger star than me. He's been going viral since he was born. That video was the first one to go viral. You probably remember another one with a guy where he threw up in my beard, and that went viral. I had milk all in my beard because he threw up in my mouth and in my beard. And the latest one that went viral, a lot of people don't know that's me in the background, too. Do you see the new videos of the dudes telling his son to do the Drew Hill dance as a punishment?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. The little kid who's dancing in the video, that's him.
Damn.
He's 7 now. But that video just did like 30 million views. It went to World Star, went to Shade Room. And now everybody in America is doing that punishment for their kids based off of my son. So my son is crazy viral. That's if you listen to the voice in the background, that's me yelling at him.
Dude, we've been doing this podcast for almost a year now, and I don't think I think you can't hear her, but we have a producer in the back, Rachel, and you've had her cracking up this whole time. I think she's familiar with all your social media stuff because she's dying back there.
Yeah, man, it's cool, man. But it's good that my son can be an extension of me. But he has his own personality, and he knows how to play to the camera too. So used to live in my balls. That one went crazy viral, and he was like maybe 2 months old in that video. Now he's about to be 7 next week.
Damn, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy because like one of the like street adages that I've grew up hearing. It was like when you tell someone that taught you how to do something and they say like, how are you going to teach your daddy how to have kids? You know, like that's an expression that I grew up with. And so for me, it used to be living my balls is kind of the new, you know what I mean? It's the new version of that, you know? It's like, how are you going to tell me something when you used to live in my balls?
Right. For real. But I have 6 children, but the other ones are grown. So I really don't post them because and I have 4 daughters, and dudes are perverts. So it's like my daughters are adults now. So I don't need nobody jumping in my daughter's DMs. So I kind of let them post their own stuff. Because a lot of people think I'm younger than what I am. I'm actually 45 years old. Damn. I just look a lot. Yeah, I just I just look way younger than my age, but I'm actually 45. I'm a grandfather too.
Wow. How long have you been a grandfather for?
My daughter, she's married now. My the twins, they're about 18 months.
Oh, so well then congratulations.
Yeah, I'm a grandfather now too.
That's fantastic.
It's a flex. It's a flex to look like this and be a grandfather.
That's what I was gonna say. You're probably the most incognito grandpa I've ever seen. That's
for real.
Right?
That's insane.
Right?
That's dope. That's really
great.
I'm a
gilf, homie. I'm a gilf, man. I'm a gilf out here in these streets.
Are you gotta teach them, you know, all your roasting ways so they can protect themselves, correct? Are your kids do your kids roast well too? Growing up with you as a dad, I'm sure that they got it a few times.
They get it bad. But see, his was worse. I bully my children. No, you have to. Yeah. You have to bully them because they're gonna get bullied if they're getting bullied by me. Imagine what other kids are gonna. It doesn't make them bullies. You know, like my son he'll just be sitting playing the PS5, and I'll just come take the controller for no reason. And now instead of saying, "Dad, what?" he doesn't cry about it. Now he'll get up, he'll jump up and try to fight and get it back. Mm-hmm. Which is so it was like it's kind of like I'm a Karate Kid. He had him wax on, wax off. And he's like, what the hell am I doing this for? And then when he had to fight, he already knew how to do it. So you're training them to be somebody so they won't be soft. Because the whole bullying thing is fake to me, bro. I'm from New York. Everybody gets bullied. It's in the nature of a child to bully. Like, nah. That's bullying. Right? But if you're soft, then you're gonna say, hey, they're bullying me. But if you grew up being, you know, you had a tough parent, then nothing's gonna affect you in this world. So, you know, bullying epidemic is crazy since online. Because my solution to getting online bullied, log off, pussy, log off. If you can't see it, how is it happening?
For real. So, well, yeah. I mean, I have an older sister, and I got bullied from my dad and my older sister, you know, every single day religiously. By the time I made it to school, like there's nothing a kid in school can say to me that's gonna shake me. You know what I mean? It's just dude, my sister, she literally changed my diapers.
Did you get bullied because nobody knows what race you are, bro? Like, I don't know what you are, bro. Like, you got like this, like almost Aboriginal, Australian, Puerto Rican. Like, I don't know what you are. I'm like, what is he, bro? Is he Arabic?
Well, I'll tell you this. When I'm at the airport, I get checked like an Arab. But I was born in Brazil, raised right here in South Florida, and this hair is from Turkey. So, you know, that might be throwing you off.
So you're Brazilian?
Yeah, Brazilian.
That's pretty dope. I love Brazil, especially the women.
Yes. Well, when you come down here, we'll talk about that as well.
Oh yeah, please bring some Portuguese obrigados to the show.
Oh, you know what's up. All right.
He even knows a little Portuguese. That's what's up.
Yeah, tell him I need some. Tell him I need some. What's the sandwich that I love? The Brazilian sandwich. The picanha sandwich, or some picanha. Bring that. Oh, and also I do capoeira too.
My dog, yo, that's. You know what?
Yeah.
You know, actually, you're gonna be here only for a day.
I'm kind of Brazilian. Picanha is my favorite steak. I do capoeira, and I'm into Brazilian women. So
if you come down here to South Florida, man, I'll take you around to all the spots. I'll show you where we hang.
Let's do it. I'm in there.
As far as like big acts or any big headliners or other comedians, is there anyone on your list that you would like to work with in the future?
Definitely Chappelle. I would love to work with Chappelle. I've worked with, you know, a lot of my guys I look up to, but one I haven't yet, who they compare us. People always say, hey, you're a blend between Patrice O'Neal and Corey Holcomb.
Oh, you know what?
A blend between the two.
Actually,
they always like, yeah, you remind me of Corey Holcomb, because Corey Holcomb, but he's intentionally offensive. Like he's a monster. So I'm cool with all of his openers. I'm cool with all his openers, but I still have, and we've met several times, but I would love to be like the guy to warm up the stage for him, or probably do like a split show where he do 30, I do a 30, something like that. Yeah, I would love to work with Corey Holcomb. That's my guy.
I can definitely
Corey
see.
Holcomb and Dave Chappelle.
I can.
Chappelle is the goal. That's the goal right there. Because Chappelle, to me, at the moment, he's the god of comedy right now. Like, he's transcended it, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I think where you described yourself between Patrice and Holcomb is definitely a good spot because we met. Well, I met him recently at the Improv and got to really watch 5 sets and really get deep into it. And you're right. I mean, your comedy definitely, you'd kill in that crowd, man. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. That's the guy right now I would love to. And that's going to happen eventually. I mean, right now, it's going to happen. I foresee that within a year I'll be working with Corey Holcomb.
Hey, man. Is there any venues that are on your bucket list? Any big venues, small venues, things from the past that you'd like to either hit again or hit?
I mean, I would like to do some international stuff. I got a big fan base in, believe it or not, in Brazil. I have a fan base there. And South Africa, some places in Canada, but as far as stateside, I would love to like do a nice West Coast run because only on the West I did LA and I've done Vegas. Vegas is a really good city for comedy. But I do want to hit those little pockets like Indiana and Idaho, like all of these places where I do have fans that'll come out to see me. But a lot of these places, I haven't been to, but I just want to go to places that's very uncomfortable to me. Because I think that's the only way you're going to get better. Because you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I like that. I like the challenge. Because, you guys are comedians too. I don't know if you guys ever done like a retirement home or some shit like that. Bro, when you do a room full of old people, you got to call an audible, bro. Because it's not going to work. But the old people, like I'm talking about the geriatrics, bro, they're going to die soon. They've heard it all. You can roast the hell out of them. They find everything funny. They're the best people to do comedy in front of. You can really try your stuff with them. So I like older people.
That's awesome.
Preferably white older people. Black older people, they'll walk out. But white older people are the best crowds.
There's a club here in Naples called Off the Hook Comedy Club, and I've
done it.
Yep,
I've done it. That's where I did it at, and it literally was a senior night. And they had like speed dating, but for senior citizens. Oh, and wow. I did that show. Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples. 100% did that.
Oh man, that's so good. I love that club. They're so nice. But I had the same situation. I walked in, I saw the crowd, and I'm like, oh, I gotta adjust this set real quick.
Yeah. I thought I did though, but then I started doing my stuff. They liked it. I was like, oh wow, okay. I don't have to play it safe with them at all. This is gonna be fun, and I had a good time. I did 2 nights there, and that was cool. Yeah, that's why my first experience working with old people. And when I did it, I probably was maybe about 3 or 4 years in. And it was a fun show.
So since you've started now touring and kind of going out doing spots around the country and getting booked out, how has that life been? How has road life been? A tough adjustment? Has it been easy for you? Do you like travel? What has that been like for you? What's that experience?
I try to limit myself from how much I do shows. Like I'm not, I do like being on the road, but for me, like even with Miami, it's like a one-off. I'm coming to do 2 shows in one night. I'm a real active father, so I like to be home with the children. And because I also do a lot of online stuff, I don't have to travel as much doing comedy. I know a lot of comics like it, but believe it or not, comedy on the road is a lonely life, bro. It's lonely because even like a Preacher, Preacher's my guy, and he's everywhere. Him and Cam, and Preacher's on the road. He's going all overseas, and you literally can get burnt out from it. So, I mean, it makes you a better comic because you're getting all the hours on stage and time on stage. But I don't think I would have I would do a tour, but even with that, I would limit my shows purposely, like maybe to like 2 a week. Something like that. But every single day, bro, not me. I'm not that guy. I don't like it. I don't like being on the road that much. Not for doing comedy that much on the road. I got to get back home to the kids, or they're gonna lose their minds.
Hey, I totally get that. That's great.
Yeah.
So kind of in wrap up, what do you think are some of your goals going into second half 2025, going into 2026?
Mhm.
Obviously, you got your merch brand that your merch line that you just launched that you want to take out to the next level, getting better shows,
Mhm.
but kind of just for yourself, what are some of those goals looking like?
So now I mean, I got the acting bug has hit me. So I was offered some movie roles. So now this week in New York, we actually start filming. This week, so a couple of big acts in this movie. I think Tracy Morgan's in it, Ari Spears, Fredro Starr, Gorilla Nims. We're doing a movie called The Tunnel. The Tunnel is a legendary New York City nightclub from the '90s. Like this is where all the big rappers now. This is what they came through that hub. So Fredro Starr is actually shout out to him. He's directing that movie there, and I'm gonna be a cop. Out of everything, they're making me a cop in the movie. So I mean, after this is like I want to see how this turns out, and I definitely would like to do more movies. Um, I really want to blow the pod up. I want to blow it out the roof because I want to be. My goal for this year with podding is to make my podcast the hub. If you want to see your favorite comedian get interviewed, I want my podcast to become that. All jokes aside, I mean, even the name it sounded like it was meant for that because all jokes aside, of course, was one of the biggest comedy clubs in Chicago. So a lot of the great comics came out of that hub. Bernie Mac and Godfrey, uh, D. Ray Davis, they all came out of there. And I would like to do that. And definitely more comedy shows, man. Just do more comedy shows, hit a lot of these big cities, and do my own personal tour while I bring my guys out on the road. Oh, and one more thing too. I'm bringing back roasting, live roasting, but not me roasting people, audience members roasting. Bring out the biggest roasters from the city, kind of like that Yo Mama show that Will Milz out was named Fez from that '70s show.
Yeah.
And that
Hmm.
show was trash, by the way. He did it wrong. It was, and I want like real harsh roast on how it's supposed to be. Just let's get rid of the PC stuff and let's talk about each other again. Make it more popular to tell people about themselves. That's really what I want to bring back. So my roasting stuff, the Pack You Up show, I want to do that, and I want to do that nationwide. And I think I'm gonna start it here in Orlando.
Well, if I can put a comedian's name in your ear, maybe you've already worked with them, but someone that said something similar to me was Jay Reed. He's working with
Oh,
Nate Jackson right now, and
right,
he does
right.
You Look Like show, basically, where it's like a roast, but you start every line with "You look like," and then two comedians go against each other. So it's definitely dope to hear that across
Right,
the board people are kind of talking about the same thing. But he's also
right.
somebody that's over there on the West Coast, so it's definitely somebody who could be a good.
That'd be dope. All right, collab with him on that. But I want to bring it back to the people because comedians, and then also comedians. I like that the energy now in comedy is kind of leaving from the PC stuff. I mean, that got a lot to do with Trump being back in office too. Like, even social media platforms, even Mark Zuckerberg had to like lighten up a little bit because they were real sensitive over it. Anything you say, they're flagging you, they're canceling your account. That happened to me with the King Dirtbag page. And all I did was, I called some fat women fat. I wasn't saying it as an insult, but the word fat bothered them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not saying it to be insulting, but that is what the definition of fat is. I like when we used to call little people midgets. I like that. I like midget. It sounds great. It's a good word.
It rolls off
It's a
the
nice
tongue.
strong word.
It's a nice
I just want
compact.
to bring that back, man. Like, you know, and like bring it back to when if you, like I said, any comedian who's considered one of the goats, they push the bar. You can't think of a comedian you call a goat that was nice. Carlin, Red Fox, Eddie Murphy, Bernie Mac, all of these guys pushed the bar. They were unapologetic. Richard Pryor, they were rude and unapologetic, and that's what we call the greatest comedians of all time. So I don't think you can be one of the goats if you're not pushing the bar. If you don't know what the bar is, just jump over it and find out.
Amen.
I like that, man, and I want comedians to not be scared anymore. If you're good, you can't be canceled.
Yeah, it's dope that you said that because actually, coincidentally, this Thursday at the Miami Improv, a bunch of our friends are going to be doing a roast battle. I think it's the first time they're bringing it back,
Mhm.
right? And Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. I think roasting, you just busting people's balls is
Right,
the
bro. And as men, that's what we do. Men, we do that to each other all the time. Like if I call my friend and we're saying we're good friends, and you call me and say, "Hey man, how you doing? How's your day going?" I'm gonna be like, "What the hell? What are you talking about?" I'm gonna think there's something wrong with you. They had a challenge going on social media now. Men are calling their friends saying, just calling to say good night. You
Yeah.
see the guys' reactions to it? Like, yo, you all right? What's wrong with you? That's how men talk to men. And social media have tricked the world into believing this is not how it's supposed to be. No, that's the nature of a man. We're like that with each other. And I would like for that to be a natural thing again in comedy.
I have a habit where all the local comedians every night before they go to bed, I send them any video I can find of a decapitation or a horrible accident, and I send them, good night, guys, and send them that terrible video. It's great.
Yeah, he sends them to
Bro,
me every night. It's crazy.
there you go, bro. Something horrible. That's what we do. That's how we show, because we're not allowed to be, it's kind of like opposite, right? We're not allowed to say, man, I love you, man. You know, you're not allowed to be sensitive with your guys. So the way we show our affection to friends is actually being mean. And I think women don't understand that's actually how men communicate. If you walk into a room of guys, this is why you can see 50,000 guys at a football game and no fights break out. You see a lot of yelling and screaming, but really we actually love each other. We're cool. Like this is how men, this is male camaraderie. This is how we bond. Men bond with each other and meet with women.
Yeah, amen, brother.
Heard that.
Right. We bond with each other and we do it by being mean to each other. Intentionally mean.
I think wiser words have never been spoken on the comedy calendar, actually. That goes deeper than just comedy, y'all. Listen up.
Man.
Listen up. Will's got the insights, man. But bro, Will, it has really been a really fantastic interview, bro. It's awesome not only to hear your perspective and how you came up through comedy, but also just kind of how you've made this path your own. And that's something that a lot of comics are, at least for us down here in South Florida, the people that watch our show, the comics that watch our show, our peers, we're all trying to carve our own way. And it's interesting getting to know what a guy who's already hit a much higher plateau than any of us, how he got to that point. And I think a lot of us down here are going to take a lot of great information from what you've given us. And before we do get out of here, though, I just wanted to know if you want to say anything else to the comedy fans, the audience down here, and the people in South Florida that are going to be coming out to your show on Tuesday at the Miami Improv.
Just be prepared, don't get mad. I'll always smile if I see you're offended because I know it's uncomfortable. But just know everything I say is lighthearted, is meant out of love. And just be prepared to laugh. There's going to be some things about myself. Listen, and I'm not the guy who's going to get up in there and say, hey, look at my face. I'm not one of the comedians who do self, you ever watch Adam Sandler movies? You notice he always wins every fight? He's never like the loser. I'm that guy. Like, I'm not going to be the butt of my own jokes. And if you heckle me, you're going to get roasted to death. We're going to have a good time with it, though. And I love making people laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. I like to laugh every day. And if I'm having a bad day, I'm going to find something to make me laugh. I need to laugh every day, which is why I look so young from laughing and having a lot of sex.
Again, dropping the wisdom here on the comedy calendar, guys. You heard it
You gotta laugh, man.
You heard it from the man himself, guys. Thank you again, Will, for sharing all that knowledge with us. And you guys, don't forget 7 and 9:30 Tuesday at the Miami Improv. He has 2 shows happening that you want to come out and support. Get your tickets right now, guys, on miamiimprov.com. You go there, you can scoop up the tickets not only for that show, but all the shows we got coming up down here in South Florida at the Miami Improv. Will, you've been incredible. Art, is there anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, man. I just want to say thank you, Will. The knowledge and the wisdom you've given us, is really helpful, and the South Florida comedy scene is going to appreciate from it. We will be there on Tuesday at your show, so you'll get to meet us in person, and we're going to have our friend there, Dart Vision. He'll be taking some pictures and stuff and doing some social media reels for us, so it'll be exciting.
Nice. Can't wait, man. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again for tuning in to this week's edition of the South Florida Comedy Calendar, everyone. This show where every single week we keep you up to date on what happened, what's happening, and what's coming up in South Florida comedy. And this week, what's coming up is Will's show over at the Miami Improv. So definitely go out and support. And as we say every single week, guys, don't forget, keep laughing.